harassment or equal opportunity concerns, your chain of command can help. If for whatever reason you want to talk to someone else, the Navy has a stateside hotline you can call. Phone DSN 312-882-2502. That's DSN 312-882-2502. You don't have to go through it alone. Call DSN 312-882-2502.
Euroguide, things to do and see in Europe. It's that time of year again, Christmas markets. Germany's oldest market is in Dresden, November 27th through December 23rd. Leipzig boasts the world's largest freestanding advent calendar. See the calendar and do some shopping November 29th through the 23rd. Trier hosts over 95 vendors the 23rd through December 22nd. And Würzburg's market, November 25th through the 23rd, has a decorated Nicholas streetcar that can take you from shopping to the Glühwein.
The bald eagle, a symbol of strength and America. The eagle is the central symbol in the Department of Defense emblem. It holds 3 arrows, which represent the departments of the Army, the Navy, and the Air Force. The eagle is defending the United States, which is represented by the 13 red and white stripes on the shield. These stripes remind us of the original 13 states. The blue band above the stripes represents Congress. The arc of 13 stars with alternating rays signifies glory. And the laurel leaves below the eagle stand for honors received in combat, while defending peace, represented by the olive branch. The emblem of the Department of Defense, a vivid symbol of our proud military heritage.
When the War of 1812 began, the Americans and British knew whoever controlled the Great Lakes would also control the vital trade along the frontier. On Lake Erie, the British had 6 well-armed ships, the Americans only a few small boats. In February of 1813, the U.S. Navy dispatched a crew of ship's carpenters to the wilderness outpost of Presque Isle. There, through the winter and into the late spring, the men toiled under harsh conditions. Shipbuilder Noah Brown was put in charge of constructing 2 20-gun brigs.
It's green, but try it. It's all we have.
The nearest source of supplies was 130 miles away, yet in 5 months, the brigs Lawrence and Niagara were ready for battle. In their first engagement, they defeated the British fleet at Lake Erie and helped turn the tide of the war. The shipbuilders of 1812. Their determination and teamwork are a proud part of America's legacy of courage.
Is Daddy home?
No, honey. Daddy's working out of town for a while.
In the military, separation is an inevitable reality.
Mommy, is Daddy coming to the game?
No, he's still out of town.
Fortunately, family advocacy has programs for separated spouses and single parents, so you don't have to go it alone.
I miss Daddy.
I do too, but he'll be home soon.
Family advocacy. We're here to help.
U.S. Army Europe and 7th Army Command Sergeant Major David Lady on soldiering.
It means to be on the point, well-trained, well-motivated, and well-disciplined, accomplishing every mission my president and my Congress asked me to perform. It means never letting up on trying to achieve excellence. Excellence on behalf of our nation, on behalf of our citizens.
U.S. Army Europe, on point for the nation.
The Boys and Girls Club of America, in partnership with the Department of Defense, presents a 2001 European Management Institute. This year's institute offers exciting workshops such as Nike 101, Street Smart, and Team Supreme Academy. It takes place February 6th through the 9th in Stuttgart, Germany. To be part of the 2001 European Management Institute, you must register by December 15th. For more details, call these numbers.
Ahoy, ye scaly sea urchins. Can you guess where I be sitting? Well, it ain't no captain's cabin now, is it? No. I be sitting in the brig. And where you be asking yourself? To the term brig come from? Well, I'll tell you. Because I got little else to do. Good boy. We got the term brig long ago from the word brigantine. A two-masted sailing ship favored by pirates like myself, thank you. When we be captured, fortunes of the trade, you know, they'd lock us up on our own ship, the brig. Well, the name stuck. And the U.S. Navy's been using the term brig ever since to describe a place confined. I'd see you out, but I'm confined here for just a while yet.
The brig, a fascinating part of our American military heritage.
These photographs were taken some 45 years ago. I was fresh out of medical school then, sent to operate a field dressing station near Antietam.
I was an aide in a Confederate hospital.
So we were both in the business of saving lives.
The Civil War produced a number of medical procedures that are still in use today. For the first time, doctors recognized the importance of sanitation and hygiene, and anesthesia came into widespread use. Major Jonathan Letterman, medical director of the Army of the Potomac, instituted a system of staged field hospitals served by history's first trained ambulance corps.
Remember those early ambulances?
Yeah, but look at that. The Red Rover was one of our vessels until she was captured and turned into the first riverboat hospital ship by you Yankees.
There were also hospital trains.
Systematic medical care, another military first from the Civil War.
Luck, you do a great Lindy.
Some things are worth repeating.
Life can be hectic. So often our day-to-day activities leave us little time for ourselves. But no matter how busy you are, it's important to set aside a few minutes each month to conduct a breast self-exam. Being in touch with your body can alert you to the early warning signs of breast cancer. Think of those few minutes as part of a lifelong investment, one that can have immeasurable returns.
Tobacco use has an immediate effect on your heart and blood vessels. The nicotine increases your heart rate. It triggers nerve endings that cause blood vessels to constrict, and this results in a temporary increase in blood pressure. Nicotine doesn't cause high blood pressure, but if you already have it, using tobacco products substantially increases your risk for heart attack or stroke. And those effects are not temporary.
In an amazing response to President Roosevelt's call for air supremacy, the B-24 Liberator became the most heavily produced American bomber of World War II. Liberators were the most complicated and expensive combat aircraft the world had ever seen. The innovative wing design above the bomb bays, combined with greater fuel capacity, gave the LIB a staggering range of around 2,200 miles. B-24s were engaged in island-hopping missions in the South Pacific, flying above small arms fire and below the range of anti-aircraft guns. Also, high-altitude saturation missions over Europe flown night and day crippled the enemy's industrial base. One of the most famous missions flown by the Liberators involved runs against the famous Ploesti oil refineries in Romania. The B-24s operated in more theaters in a greater number of roles than any other aircraft of World War II.
The B-24 Liberator, an aircraft that produced dramatic results during World War II.
During the Civil War, a spy worked every day in the Southern White House, right under the nose of Confederate President Jefferson Davis.
I agree, General. Move the troops further north. We'll need reinforcements.
Elizabeth Bowser, a former slave, was asked by her employer, Elizabeth Van Loo, to spy for the Union Army. When she overheard conversations, she would pass on the information to another servant. Those around her assumed Elizabeth was illiterate, but in fact, she read dispatches and orders whenever possible and passed the information on to General Grant.
Your suggestion on moving troops from the west is good.
Though she risked her life daily, Elizabeth Bowser served undetected throughout the war as a Union spy in the Confederate White House. She's another example of the many brave American women who have served their country in time of war.
Are you Santa Claus? I heard you might be him. If you are him, here's my list.
Help the Marines make Christmas possible for less fortunate children. Donate a new toy to Toys for Tots.
Here's Santa Claus.
When Sergeant Margaret Jones had a PCS, she wasn't reimbursed for all her moving expenses. So, she contacted her unit tax advisor to find out what qualified as a tax deduction. Because she kept detailed expense records when she moved, she received a tax refund. Now, she's laughing all the way to the bank.
So you're saying that there are two types of power of attorney?
Yes, that's correct.
Well, let's start with the general power of attorney. Can you define that for us, Commander?
Certainly. When a service member gives a general power of attorney to a person, they are giving virtually unlimited authority to this person to act in their name on practically all matters.
I see. And how does that differ from the special power of attorney?
Well, a special power of attorney is granted for a specific purpose.
So a special power of attorney is more limited.
That's right. And most service members will find a special power of attorney is more often appropriate, but they should contact their legal office for advice on their individual situation.
Thank you for your time, Commander. If you have questions about powers of attorney, contact your legal office.
In 1863, the Union Army of the Cumberland, under Major General William S. Rosecrans, was chasing a Confederate force under General Braxton Bragg. To slow the Union advance, Bragg's men destroyed the bridges over the Tennessee River, forcing the Union Army to ferry across on makeshift rafts. Rosecrans continued his pursuit, driving his army with almost 5,000 wagons over 3 mountain ranges. So rough were the trails that wagons had to be lifted over obstacles and around turns, and so steep that mule teams often fell over cliffs, taking the wagons with them. Despite these obstacles, Rosecrans' force of 58,000 men were still able to engage the enemy at the Battle of Chickamauga. This massive movement of men and supplies remains one of the most remarkable logistical feats of the Civil War.
Hey, I'm Sergeant Styles from 137 Armor, PLL. I'd like to say hello to my wife and kids, Deja, Devon, and Tina. Love y'all, miss y'all. AFN rocks the box.
I'd like to say hello to my wife, Keisha Rogers, work over in the IG office. I love you. AFN rocks the box.
We will rock you.
There are other ways to get to work, but nah.
G60.
How are we going to pay these bills?
If you're a compulsive gambler,
You spent your whole check.
You don't understand.
it's a safe bet that your problem is affecting your family, your work.
Your work has really been slipping lately. Is everything okay? Yeah, everything's fine.
And maybe more.
35.
Get help before it's too late.
The Flintstones, The Brady Bunch, Gilligan's Island, The Cosby Show, Andy Griffith, I Love Lucy, Bewitched, MASH, Charlie's Angels, Fantasy Island, The Twilight Zone, Alfred Hitchcock Presents, Star Trek. Only one network has all of these classic television shows. AFN Spectrum's Flashback TV. Relive television history 6 days a week. Flashback TV. Some things are worth repeating.